Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 18, which is entitled as Sannyasa Yoga. Sloka 12. Aniṣṭam iṣṭaṁ miśraṁ ca tri-vidhaṁ karmaṇaḥ phalam bhavaty atyāgināṁ pretya nattu sannyāsināṁ kvacit. We heard how it is not possible for those who are interested in the path of liberation to be free of karma. For that matter, anyone is not free from doing their karma because they have the body. When we have the body, we have to maintain the body. We have to feed the body. We have to take care of basic needs of the body. All these are karmas, activities. Therefore, tyāgi is the one who performs the activities but renounces the fruits of actions. So this was made very clear from Krishna's side. But there is an objection arised. The objection is, just because we renounce the fruits mentally from our action, what is the guarantee that we will not get the fruit, the phalam, the result of our action? So the opponent says, you may do the karma without aspiring for the result, but you will get the result anyway by default. It doesn't matter whether you want the result or you don't want the result through your action, but you will get the result without any choice. Therefore, the best is not to do the karma itself, because the karma is going to give you its result anyways. And once you get the result, that is going to be an obstacle for you in the path of liberation. And the Purva Pakshi, the opponent, also gives an example. You sow a seed, but mentally you think that you do not expect anything out of it. But we all know that you are going to get something out of it. Just because you are not interested in the grains from the seed, it doesn't stop the seed to sprout, grow, and become a plant and give the grains. All that for sure going to happen. Therefore, not expecting for reward is not the best approach. As you can see from this example, when you sow the seed, it is going to give the grains. How do we avoid this? Best is not to sow the seed. That which you do, which has been said by Shastra Vidhi, like Agnihotra, Darsha Purnamasa, Jyotishtoma, Mahayajna, all those things are going to give a result of attaining heaven. Then why do you even have to do these things? And Siddhanti, that is who holds the principle of what he is trying to establish, in this case it is Krishna. So the Siddhanti says, I am not doing those things which take me to heaven. I do my nitya naimitika karma, the daily and occasional karmas that's mentioned in the Shastra, that too without expecting any results. So what is the problem in doing those things? The Purva Pakshi, the opponent, quotes a verse from the scripture. Nitya naimitikānaṁ api prajapatyam ragastānaṁ. This is a quotation from Vishnu Purana. It clearly says those who performs nitya naimitika karma very religiously, they will attain prajapati loka. This is for the gragastas. Likewise, sannyasis, when they perform certain things, as mentioned in the scriptures, they will attain satyaloka. So you see, even performing nitya naimitika karma, you go to higher planetary systems. Not that you will go to the spiritual world. Therefore, you should not be doing nitya naimitika karma as well. The opponent also raises another objection. If we remember, earlier it was mentioned that those who are mumukshus, who are on the path of liberation, will not commit mistakes. If at all they commit mistakes unknowingly, it will be tolerated and forgiven by the Lord. Here the opponent says that can't be true. Even the mumukshus, the person who are aspirant of liberation, will not be forgiven if it is done unknowingly. And he gives an example, again with the seed example. By mistake, if I drop a seed on the ground due to my negligence, does it mean it will not sprout? The answer is no, it will sprout. Therefore, whether you do it knowingly or unknowingly, whether you are expecting a result or not expecting a result by performing a karma, you will get the result. And as I said earlier, these results are not agreeable because it's going to be a hindrance in the path of liberation. Therefore, the aspirant should not undertake any actions, the results of which will be inimical to liberation. Now that these objections are placed, let's see what Krishna has to say. Aniṣṭam, the undesirable, things like leading to hell. iṣṭaṁ, the desirable, things like leading to heaven. miśraṁ, and the mixed of these both, aniṣṭam and iṣṭaṁ. tri-vidhaṁ, of three kinds. karmaṇaḥ phalam, the result of action. atyāgināṁ, for those who are not renounced, meaning not renounced the three-vidhaṁ, or only to those who have not done satvika. Satvika means doing with three-vidhaṁ. Not renounced three-vidhaṁ means not doing three-vidhaṁ. Those three things. By now, we are pretty sure that we all know what is the three-vidhaṁ. What is satvika tyaga? Tyaga that involves three kinds of renunciation. I am not the doer, I am not the proprietor, I do not want the reward out of my action. Pretya, after performing karma or after death. Bhavaty comes. Sannyāsināṁ too, for the renounced, that is, to those who have done satvik tyaga, kvacit, any kind of reward, whatever, na bhavaty, will not come. Translation: for one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. This verse explains the result of incorrect renunciation. Krishna says, for those who do not renounce in the way he has described earlier, atyāgināṁ, after death, pretya, there are three types of results: suffering in the form of hell, aniṣṭam, happiness in the form of swarga, iṣṭaṁ, and a mixture of happiness and suffering in a human birth, miśraṁ, will be there for those who have not renounced the phalam of their action. They have to go through any of these three things, either heavenly planet or hellish planet or in this world. But for those who have renounced the phalam as explained by Krishna, does not have to go through these three things. Meaning, there is no hell, there is no heaven, they don't need to take birth again in this human world. They will attain the supreme abode, which means no more birth again into this material world. Now let's address the objections, the questions that was raised by the Purva Pakshi. Just because we think we don't want the reward doesn't mean we will be free of reward. We will get the reward. And he gave an example of a seed being sowed will sprout and give the grains. So the answer is yes, the action will produce the result, but the result can be altered accordingly. Whether to take the reward or not to take the reward is up to the performer. What is being said here by Krishna is not that our action is not going to create a result. It will create a result, but it is up to the performer, karta, whether to pick it or not. Here is an example. In India, many years back, there was fight to get independence. They were called freedom fighters, and they were awarded for fighting against the English, even for killing. Whereas now, if I try to do the same karma activity of fighting someone on the street or trying to kill them, I will not be awarded. I will be punished. The action performed by the freedom fighter and the action performed by me are same. There's no difference. We both are killing. But one is getting awarded, another one is getting punished. This is what called technically as viniyoga pratikva nyayam, where the karma is same and the result varies. It varies based on how the karma is applied. In what intention the karta performs the karma, the performer performs the action. Therefore, one can perform Jyotishtoma Yaga not to go to heaven, but to please Krishna and attain Vaikunta. One can perform Nitya Naimitika Karma not to go to Prajapati Loka, but to please Krishna and to attain Vaikunta. So, Krishna uses the term atyāgināṁ, which is opposite of tyāgi. Tyāgi, atyāgi. Atyāgināṁ are those who have not done the threefold tyaga that we have been discussing for a while now. Those who have not renounced the sense of agency, attachment and fruits of actions. In other words, those who have not performed sattvika tyaga prior to the commencement of the karma. They are called as atyāgi. Whereas sannyāsināṁ, to those who have done the threefold renunciation, as Krishna already told in verse 4. In other words, the action should be undertaken with the clear awareness that Krishna gets this karma done through me. I am not the doer. I am subservient to Krishna, and I am doing this karma as a mode of worship to please him. Now let's see Agnihotram and many other yaga, yajna which is mentioned in the Shastra can be performed. Agnihotram, for example, prescribed as Nitya Karma in the Shastra. When one does this very meticulously, very religiously, regularly, consistently, it will give one higher planet, heavenly planet as a reward. But if the same Agnihotra is undertaken after performing Sattvika tyaga, that is, giving up the sense of agency, giving up attachment, giving up the fruits of action, but performed to please Krishna, then the sins obstructing the growth of bhakti gets annihilated and one obtains liberation through bhakti. We are going to repeat this again because this is very important to understand. By performing some rituals, for example, Agnihotra, it gives heaven as a reward. That doesn't mean we should not do Agnihotra. One can still perform Agnihotra, but with Sattvika Tyaga for worshipping the Lord. When that is done, the same Agnihotra which is done in this mode will eradicate the obstacles in the path of liberation. We can see the differences. If one is not doing Agnihotra in Sattvika Tyaga mode, then one gets heavenly planet, which is obviously an obstacle in path of liberation. But when same Agnihotra is done in Sattvika Tyaga, it becomes a remedy to remove our obstacles in the path of liberation, and gradually one progress towards the spiritual abode. Therefore, the Shastras declared the same single action as the means to attain many results, and such action will bestow only the fruit desired and not the rest. One very important point to note here, as we said, it is the Agnihotra will remove the obstacle. It is the Agnihotra which gives the heavenly planet. We should be careful to understand that the karma called Agnihotra is non-sentient. It is not a sentient being. Therefore, it does not decide what to reward, what to give, what not to give. It is the Lord who is pleased with our action, grants the respective fruits. If one performs the Agnihotra to attain heavenly planet, the Lord who pleased by the action of an individual, he grants heavenly planet. In other hand, if a bhakta, a devotee, wants to perform Agnihotra, continue doing Agnihotra, not to go to heavenly planet, but to please the Lord, because it has been stated in the Shastra as one of the duty, then the Lord is pleased and he gives his abode to this person as a reward. So it is Krishna who does that in accordance with the stated purpose of the action. Before we get into the action, one needs to define why they are doing and what is the result they want to obtain by performing this action. Accordingly, the Lord who is pleased by such action will grant respective results. Now one question may come, in the Shastras there are contradicting statements. For example, it says that by performing yajna, dhana, tapasa, etc., one attains moksha. Whereas in other place it says through jnana one attains moksha. How do we understand this contradiction? In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is said, Tamedam vedanu vachanena brahmana vividishanti yajnena dhanena tapasana shakena. By Vedic study, celibacy, austerity, faith, yajna and fasting, one will attain moksha. Whereas in other place it is said, Jnaneka moksham. It is only through jnana one will attain moksha. Both these are supported in the scriptures. So the way that it should be understood is by performing one's duty, the karmas that mentioned in the scriptures, yajna, dhana, tapasa, etc., it gives one a proper jnana, clear understanding, clear knowledge. And that knowledge with bhakti leads one to moksha. That is how this to be combined. Therefore, there is no contradiction between these two statements. There is some more important points to be covered in this sloka that we will continue in the next session. In nutshell, what we covered today is one can perform actions that mentioned in the scriptures. Though the action may give result, it is completely depends on the performer. The same action can give multiple results based on what the karta wants, the performer wants. That is what he is going to get, not anything else. And that is given by the Lord who is pleased, not the karma itself, because the karma is non-sentient. The person who is interested in attaining the supreme abode will not aspire for heavenly planets. Rather, he does that as a duty to please the Lord, because it is said in the Shastra. Therefore, he is not going to get any material rewards. Rather, that action is going to help this person to progress spiritually by removing the obstacles in the path of bhakti. And that also the removal of obstacles done by the Lord himself, who is pleased by such action. Namaste. Hare Krishna.